August the 1st, 2019. Guys, many of you have been on the live stream overnight, and I appreciate that. We left it up, guys, just so people could have a place to come in and share information, look at the updates, but it's a repeated radar that kept updating itself, and you notice that storm is all over the Bahamas right now. But Dorian, strong Category 5 at 160 miles per hour. A Cat 5 is as high as you get, and it goes from 156 to infinity. I guess if it ever got worse than that, they may put a Category 6 or 7 in there, but 160, guys, that's unbelievable. It's extremely high winds, are extremely dangerous. It's saying that you got the central pressure at 927 millibars. It's still moving west. It has not turned. Notice it's not west-northwest. It's west at 8 miles an hour, very slow. You also have behind it, you've got the storm here that's 50% chance of development in 48 hours. We'll keep an eye on that. We've got one here that's a 0% chance in 48 hours, but a 20% chance in the next 48 hours. And this system over the Yucatan is a 20% chance in 48 hours, a 30% chance of development in the next 5 days. We're going to keep an eye on those, but we got to focus on the monster at the doorstep right now. Now, looking at this chart, you can see it's getting very close to shore before it makes that turn, and that's going to tell you that about half of this storm, if it turns here, if it does by Tuesday at 2 a.m., then it's going to be halfway ashore because of the power, and it looks like a full clean out as far as the East Coast goes up through here. Now, this is just one model, and it's kind of an average of the other models, but we're going to take a look at that. But notice at the top, 160 miles an hour, west at 8 miles an hour, 927 millibars, getting very low in pressure. If you look at this hasn't changed much overnight. It looks like it's getting a little closer before the turn. And that turn is going to be a very sharp, hard right when it comes, if it comes. But we're going to keep an eye on that. But again, these models haven't changed that much. You've got a lot of activity coming into North Carolina. See that, guys? That's where they're kind of crossing on the East Coast there below the Outer Banks. Now here you've got hurricane watches, hurricane warnings, tropical storm watches, and tropical storm warnings. Now you can tell that, of course, the Bahamas are going to get hit pretty hard, and they really already are. But this section of Florida is going to take that brunt of a full storm before it turns. Now, once it turns and starts raking up the coast, it's going to weaken back down some because it won't have all 4 feet in the water, if you know what I mean. But this is what it's looking like. North of Miami, you got tropical storm watches, tropical storm warnings. Before the day's over, you're going to start seeing hurricane warnings pop up here on the East Coast. And we're starting to see a break in this low pressure system that's over the North Atlantic right there. And that's been kind of the controlling factor of where the storm goes. And it was pushing a lot of activity south and southwest down along the storm. Now, you still got some of that, but it's starting to pull off. And that may allow the storm, as it gets closer to Florida, to start that right turn. You've got this system they're watching. You got a system back here off of Africa they're watching. And they're watching the Gulf of Mexico for development. We'll do that in a full update. I just wanted to come in here with this information on Dorian. On this close-up, you can see this perfectly formed buzzsaw of a hurricane to your right coming over the Bahamas. In the Gulf of Mexico, you see this activity that's over the Yucatan Peninsula, slowly moving west, just between Louisiana and the Louisiana coast and the Yucatan Peninsula, right in the center of this image, trying to start some rotation. More than likely, it will be a rain event here. But Dorian is a killer. And I mean that literally, guys. This thing is going to hurt some folks that have not been paying attention. A lot of you guys that were here overnight on the live feed, you saw how close and how dangerous the storm is becoming. But look at that eye wall, guys. The Bahamas are in for it. Now, this is the Canadian model, guys, and it is showing the storm moving a little further to the left, a little further west than it did last night. And that is showing us that it's coming ashore hard over the Lake Okeechobee area, just west of the Bahamas, moving well inland, losing some strength, moving up through Jacksonville, out through the Carolinas. And guys, again, in Jacksonville, in that area, if the storm stays ashore like that, you're going to have a very strong Category 2 coming from the south right on top of you. Check this out. But guys, I'm going to go through all of the models, look at all the information, and come in with a full report. I just wanted to put something up very quickly this morning. Don't let your guards down on the East Coast in any means yet. This is a heads up. Be safe.